Hi guys, welcome to this video. So we're going to be talking a really exciting topic today, PEMDAS, although it's pretty basic, but sometimes the questions can really confuse us. And I just came across this question in one of my tutoring session, and it was really interesting. So the way the question is, we have to do 6 divided by 6 times, in parentheses, we have 1 plus 2. And surprisingly, when we put these things into two different calculators, they give two different answers, right? So this one is a Casio FX991 model, and this is a Texas Instruments TI 84, which is giving us the answer as 3. So which one actually is the correct one? That's what we are going to talk about in this video. So before moving ahead, let me just brief a little bit about what PEMDAS is. So PEMDAS is actually gives us the sequence of the operations whenever we have multiple of addition, subtraction, multiple multiplication, division, parentheses, exponents, etc. So this one corresponds to parentheses. This is exponents. Let me just write it very clearly. So this is also the order of the priority in which we have to actually perform the operations. So for example, the first priority is to be given to parentheses followed by exponents. For division and multiplication, we do have some interesting rules. I'm going to mark it together as 3. And for addition and subtraction, they are actually on the same priority. So I'm just going to mark it as 4 over here. Okay. Now, this one has a parentheses in it. So, and by the way, for the multiplication and division, the rule which we follow is actually from left to right. Actually, from left to right. So, what is the meaning of this left to right? It means that it doesn't matter whether it's multiplication or division. If both of them are present, or even if multiple such operations are present among in between, multiplication and division, so you're going to perform it from left to right in the sequence in which they are appearing. For example, I'm going to take an example case over here. Let's say I have 2 times 3, 2 times 3 over 2 times times 4, let's say. So what I mean to say is I'm going to perform this operations from left to right. What it means is first I'm going to perform the multiplication, which is 3 times 2, which is nothing but 6, and then division divided by 2 and times 4 remains as it is. Then I'm going to perform this division first. So 6 over 2 is 3 and times 4 remains as it is. And now I'm going to perform the multiplication first. So that's going to be 12. All right. So let's actually try to apply this concept over this question and see which is the likely answer, and which one of these two calculators are actually showing the correct answer. So parentheses comes first, of course. So we have 6 divided by 6 times 1 plus 2, which is nothing but 3. And now comes the interesting part. So before moving ahead, I'm going to explain a little bit of theory to you about the multiplication, which is actually of two types, right? One is the explicit and another one is the implicit. What is the meaning of that? For example, if I say that I'm writing 2 times 3, so that is an explicit multiplication. What it means is the multiplication sign is explicitly written over here. On the contrary, if I'm talking about an implicit, so what implicit means is I'm writing 2 and 3 like this, or perhaps I'm writing it as 2 and in parentheses I have 3. So what this means is this parentheses is actually means that it is an implicit multiplication, and which also means that it is 2 times 3. So how does that help us? Now we have to go back to the history now. And historically, as in a couple of, I think, decades back, it was a convention that implicit multiplication had a priority over explicit multiplication. So what this means is, if you have something like this, and if you have something like this as well, so you have to do this expression first, followed by this one. But now at present, historic convention has been lost, and now we treat implicit and explicit multiplication to be on the same level, and that is the reason why the calculators are showing different answers. If we go back again, this calculator, this model of Casio, which is FX991, that actually dates pretty back. That's an old calculator. And then when this was made, the algorithm of this is set in such a way that the implicit multiplication is taken a priority over the multiplication, the explicit multiplication, and of course the division as well. And that is the reason why, if we talk about this calculator, the Casio, so from this step, it is going to proceed something like this. So this is taken to be on the first priority now rather than the division. So this works like 6 divided by 18, and 6 divided by 18 is of course 1 over 3, which is nothing but 0.33. On the contrary, if we talk about the TI-84, that's the latest version of the calculator, and for this calculator, the 6 divided by 6 times 3, that is actually being taken as 6 divided by 6 times 3, because I just told you that the explicit and the implicit multiplication have the same priority. So basically this turns into the explicit multiplication, and now I'm going to follow this rule which says it is from left to right. So if it's from left to right, 6 divided by 6 goes first, which is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. So at present, if we talk about the present, then of course TI-84 is giving us the correct solution as per the convention which we follow, that the implicit multiplication and the explicit multiplication is actually more about the priority, and now the priority since of both of them is same, and that is the reason why TI-84 gives more it gives a answer which is I think which agrees with the current convention, I think, rather than the Casio 991. Another interesting fact happens over here. Now I've taken a screenshot, and this is FX570 model, again Casio. So now also you can see that this calculator is as well as designed in such a way that the implicit multiplication is given a priority on the division and explicit multiplication. So we can clearly see that 6 divided by 2 times 1 plus 2 is 3, and now 2 times 3, I mean 2 parentheses 3 is taken as the first priority, and the answer is 1. However, on the same calculator, if I write this multiplication sign explicitly, so what this means is basically we are dealing with this question, and of course this is essentially same as this question because there is an explicit multiplication sign over here, and then we go from left to right. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 times 3 is of course 9, and that's why the calculator gives 9 in such a question. I also happen to extract, pull out a release by the Casio. So you can clearly see over here, I'm going to zoom it in a little bit so that it's easy for you to read it. You can clearly see that Casio says that FX570 MS, which was in 2001, and all the units that are launched to the market before this. If you go back, you can see that this is FX570 model. So all the units, it's clearly written that it's natural to take the inside parentheses and the multiplication with abbreviated multiplicative mark right before the parentheses as top priority. What they mean over here is of course the priority which is being taken over here by the implicit multiplication, which is clearly we can see over here, that is taken to be a higher priority when compared to the the explicit multiplication, and hence this is a priority over that. However, after 2005, all the calculators like ES series and all these calculators, they are particularly following what we are following, and especially in the North America, which says that they are of the same priority. They are of the same priority, and hence the latest calculators are designed in such a way that they follow the same priority of these two multiplications. So I hope this video gives a very clear idea about why the calculator is showing what it is showing. And yeah, I hope this clears up the PEMDAS, the confusion as well. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye bye.